Welcome back to Just Chattin'. And this is the series of videos we do on Thursday and Sunday evenings just for our own entertainment. So for all you Audie fans, he is asleep. He has been asleep for the last several videos. He's a cat. That's what they do. I have a picture of him sleeping for you if you would like, but I'm afraid that's the best I can offer you this evening unless he decides to come out and join us. So I'm going to take the next few seconds to just invite you all to subscribe to the channel. Now, I don't usually harass you about this sort of thing, as you know, because I believe we are all adults. We all know how to deal with this if we want to. There are a lot of YouTube channels I watch without subscribing. There are a number of channels I am subscribed to and don't watch. So, I just wanted to remind you all that it is free. I do not keep like channel memberships or Patreon pages or anything like that. This channel is never going to ask you for money, but I am asking you for pushing a button. And it's not just this channel. If you have strong opinions about Nutmeg and the Sock Puppet, and I think most of this community does, subscribe to the channels that are producing the content you agree with. Even if it's just a random channel out there that happened to focus on Nutmeg and the Sock Puppet. If it's an opinion you support, subscribe. You can subscribe to as many channels as you want. It's just a click of the button. But what it does is it tells YouTube that this is the kind of content you like, which means they are going to share it. They will share it with a wider community, and we can hopefully get more people on board. And I think the tide is turning, and this is probably a good time for our community to just reach out, and this is a very easy, low-contact way to reach out. If you subscribe to channels, YouTube will do the outreach for you, and just share our point of view, our opinion, and make sure that it's available to the greater public. Just asking, if you don't want to, of course you don't have to. And thank you for being here all the same. But I did want you to understand what your subscription to any of these channels can do. And I don't imagine most of us consider just how much that can influence the algorithm. Okay. We are going to take a quick look at the intro, and we will be right back. Okay, I have a whole bunch of articles in the video notes. I'm not going to go into detail on them, but some of them were amusing, so I thought I would give you links so you can follow them up on your own if you would like. First of all, Thomas Markle has apparently found himself a new girlfriend. Well, he's 81 years old and he's just been through a trauma, so I don't know if this is a real relationship or just something in his head that is a response to the medical crisis he just went through. But if he's happy, I'm happy for him. I do have to say, though, I honestly look at that family and think to myself, when are they ever going to learn the meaning of the word discretion? Because it seems they can't take a breath without generating front page headlines about it. So, yeah, glad it's not my family, but I wish him all the best. Prince William, while we're speaking about families, is apparently letting it be known that the sock puppet will not be invited to his coronation. Now, there's nothing surprising in that little tidbit of news. I certainly never imagined that William would be inviting him. But what does surprise me in this is that the rift between William and Harry is apparently so taken for granted at this point in time that the media is perfectly comfortable publishing statements like this. And I do think that is telling, because for a long time, the media was trying to make it appear that the parting of ways between these two brothers was not as permanent or not as severe as most of us had suspected. And it looks like the media is finally embracing the narrative. Well, I would say it's the reality. The narrative, reality, choose your poison. That they've reached the parting of the ways and there is no turning back for them. And I think that is a good thing because of other stories, and we will get into that in a moment. So, next up on my little list of articles is Boris Johnson, who I don't know. I'm told he was prime minister, but frankly, I thought he was just the court jester. And I always wondered what he did with that little hat with the bells on it, because I never saw him wearing it, although I saw him wearing a whole bunch of other strange stuff. Boris Johnson has written an article for the Times in which he is ostensibly pleading with Harry to return to the UK. Come on back home, Harry. Now, I read the article, and I don't really think that's what's going on. I think Johnson was using the Come Back Home, Harry as a vehicle to throw a lot of sarcastic shade all over that sock puppet and all over Nutmeg. But that's my opinion, and I don't speak to Boris Johnson personally, so I haven't had an opportunity to ask him what he really had in mind. But I would say that was it. And other people have been saying, and this is back to what I was saying before about Harry and William, that Boris Johnson's statements are in line with that trend that people have been seeing lately of trying to, what is it they call it? I think they're calling it Operation Thaw, to smooth the way for Harry to return. I don't think anybody wants Harry back. I really don't. I do not believe Johnson wants him back. I believe that article was completely tongue-in-cheek, an absolute joke. And honestly, if Boris wants him back, he can have him. You know, it's just, the two of them can sit around the town well in the village square with their little hats with the bells on it, trying to see which one of them can be the bigger village idiot. So, they're welcome to each other if they wanted. Meanwhile, Liz Truss has come out and said that we in the U.S. can keep Harry. And I don't know if Liz Truss dislikes Boris Johnson and took that article at face value, so she's contradicting him. I don't know if she likes him, understood the article was sarcastic, and is supporting him. I don't know if she's angry with Donald Trump and is hoping that we'll get stuck with Harry. I have no idea what's going on. I do not understand Liz Truss's politics in particular, so I don't know why. But yeah, I get you, Liz. I don't want him either, but please don't leave him with us. Find somewhere else to dump him. We're already pretty much permanently stuck with his charming wife, so you can share the burden too. And finally, I do want to discuss but this is really the story I want to talk about this evening, which is the putative children. So, the putative children are back in the news yet again because Harry is being accused of using them as emotional blackmail in order to get a favorable decision out of RAVEC. Because obviously he cannot bring his children back home again, which he would love to do, and they cannot see their grandfather, who is getting older and not in good health, yada, yada, yada. Because they don't have 24/7 armed police security. Now, the idea of throwing the children into the mix is, it's manipulative, it's cynical, and I don't think this is a very good look for Harry. Well, not that anything is really a good look for him. The man seems to have a gift for doing the worst possible thing at the worst possible time. Regardless, I see no reason to believe that the putative children are any more at risk in the UK than they would be in the US. What's the difference? I mean, we are not talking about a threat level in the UK that is somehow greater than a threat level in California. And certainly, no one, honestly, I don't think anybody's interested enough in these putative children to wish them harm in the first place. But the fact is, if they are, who is to blame for this? You see, Nutmeg and the sock puppet have been playing games with these putative children ever since they were allegedly born. You know, now you see them, now you don't. Oh, here, look, a picture of toes, pictures of the back of the heads. It reminds, I have a cat toy for Audie. It's a stick with a string on it and a feather at the end. And the way you play with the cat is you dangle it in front of the cat and then pull it back to encourage the cat to chase it. And that's what the sock puppet and Nutmeg have been doing with us from the beginning with these putative children. Oh, we know you want to see these kids, so we're not going to show them to you. Oh, wait, here's a picture of the back of their head. And they have been playing this game. They have also been using the children consistently. They use them for money. And this is going back to the Harry and Meghan show for Netflix, which featured footage of the putative children. Nutmeg used the backs of the putative children's heads in her With Love Meghan show. She uses them consistently for clicks on social media. She's constantly posting these children. Meanwhile, of course, the story from the Sussex camp is, well, Harry doesn't like that, because they're trying to have it both ways. She's constantly throwing the kids out, but, oh, Harry doesn't like it, so that they can cover both camps at the same time. Those children, by the way, were their entree into the whole dialogue about social media harms for children, because they would be saying, well, as a mother, I think. Well, as a father, I think. And they were using this as an excuse to bond with parents who had lost children, allegedly to social media harms, which is beyond cynical. That's just reprehensible. But regardless, it's just another way in which they have used the children. When they are interviewed, when they give statements of any sort, it's always about their children. Well, as a mother, as a father, when the media writes about them, and half these media articles are, frankly, publicity releases from their own employed PR firms, it's always mother of two, father of two. They are constantly throwing the presence of the children out there and then just yanking it back, and they're using the children as cat toys. Well, the problem with cat toys, and I can tell you this as a cat owner, is after you do that long enough, eventually that toy gets clawed beyond recognition. So if anyone is responsible for any potential threats these children might face, who is it? Is it the cat scratching the toy or the human dangling it there to be scratched? And that's what I would ask. Now, the fact is that I do not personally have any convinced opinion one way or another. Do they have children? Do they not have children? I don't know. And the reason for that is because the only information I get is from two documented liars. So I don't believe it. I don't find any of it credible to begin with. But is there any need for these children to get some special protection, which would apparently be something beyond the children of the York princesses. Their children don't have 24/7 security, and they are not that much further behind in the line of success than these two putative children are. And of course, if Nutmeg and the sock puppet truly wanted to protect the children, why did they give them titles in the first place? Why? If they wanted these children to be safe and secure, if that was their overriding goal in life, to protect their children, and frankly, that is the overriding goal in the lives of most parents, to protect their children from harm, why did they give them titles? Why would they have put them in a situation that might attract this kind of attention? Why are they putting them on social media to stir up more attention? As far as I'm concerned, the only threat to the safety of these children are their putative parents. So, yeah, I think this is starting to backfire, because I'm pretty sure I am not the only person out there who is beginning to see it in this context, that the children are nothing more than pawns. They are being used, and they are being used shamelessly and without any regard to the welfare of the children. Because while all this is going on, and let us assume for a moment, and I know I'm going to get blowback in the comments, but you got to know my opinion on this already. So let's just take a walk on the wild side and say the children exist and they do really belong to Nutmeg and the sock puppet. The best interests of those children is served by having good relationships with their extended family. These children do not have that. They do not see Thomas Markle. They do not see Samantha. They do not see Tom Jr. And they have cousins on that side of the family that they're not seeing. They're not seeing any of Doria's extended family. And on the other side, who are they seeing? No one. But I also have to wonder, because I've suspected for a while that the sock puppet's desire, which I believe is legitimate, to bring his putative children back to the UK has an awful lot more to do with what's going to happen 10 years from now than with what's happening today. Now, I've said before, Nutmeg is not a long-term planner. She hops from one to another to another. Well, I'm not a planner, but she's pretty good at getting what she wants in the moment. Whether or not it's in her best interests, well, she's not so good at that. But she's pretty good at the short-term grab and run strategy. Long-term planning is not her thing, and frankly, I don't think the sock puppet could plan a trip to the toilet on his own. But I do think he has lawyers, and I think his lawyers are not morons, and he's probably being advised that he needs to look to the future. It's not about his relationship with William, who will one day be king, that is completely flushed down the toilet, but he should be thinking 10 years from now, what about Archie's relationship with George, who will one day be king? That's possibly salvageable. And I think that someone with a few brain cells to rub together has been advising the sock puppet that he needs to look to the future. So that's my take on this whole thing. And I have to say, I just find it so disingenuous for two people who have done everything in their power to make their putative children an object of public curiosity and interest, to then be complaining that that very same public curiosity and interest puts their children at risk. I'm just not getting it. All right, that's what I have for you today. Again, all of the little mini stories I mentioned at the beginning are mentioned in the video notes. You can find articles citing them if you want any further information. As far as I'm concerned, they were mostly just one-liners just to keep you up to date. So thank you for being with us. We're going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. I hope to see you next time. And in the meanwhile, have a terrific day.